Welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at Lab 9, which once again we'll just be talking about static and RIP routing. It's a topic that we definitely need to know how to do, especially at this level of class. So let's go ahead and we'll set it up again. The initial time we will do the static methods, and then we'll flush out the config files, and then we'll do it once again. This time we'll do the RIP automatic methods. So let's go ahead and set up the topology. Looks like it doesn't specify what kind of switch we need, so we'll just go with the basic switch. Looks like instead of just one PC, we'll be doing a couple on each. And let's go ahead and change the modules out on this one. Let's shut it off. Put a WIC2T in both of them. Switch them back on. Let's go ahead and link them up as well. Patch cables in between all of these. Topology does not specify which ones to plug them into, so with the end stations we can plug them into anything. In an actual live situation, it may not be best to just plug them into anything. Usually you want to do them sequentially, but we'll just keep it simple. Once we've done that, we'll go ahead and we'll plug in via this switch into this. When you plug into these ones do count. We want it plugged into this one because that's the one that we'll be setting the IP on. Go ahead and link this up. We want to go O/O/O. Actually, the topology calls to plug it into O/1. So we'll do that one. Oh, doesn't like it. We'll go O/1/O. We'll unplug this one, and we'll do it into O/1/O as well. So we got the same on both. Once we have that done, let's go ahead and get into these switches. Looks like the lab wants us to, at minimum, set a default IP gateway. Let's go into config. So this one we want the default gateway to be 10.10.30.250. Yep, that'll do. So we'll close out of that one. This one, it looks like it wants .10.10.20.250. And this will be the IP that we set on this gateway link. We'll go ahead and get out of that. That's all we need to do on the switches. Let me go ahead and make us some text notes. This is going to be the 10.10.20.O LAN. This one is going to be the 10.10.30 LAN A. Actually, we'll change it up. We'll go ahead and name this one Santa Fe, just to give you some context. It always helps. And we'll name this one El Paso. And we'll kind of move this off. And then this one will be the 10.10.200.0 LAN C. This one you can imagine, it's the ISP. We'll say this is Comcast. Well, this will give us some good context. So as you can imagine, we got LAN A, which is in Santa Fe. This is the Santa Fe office. And we could say this one is LAN B. This is the El Paso office. And then these two offices happen to be connected by Comcast. Let's say it's a Comcast link, that goes up and down I-25 down to I-10 that links Santa Fe and El Paso. So the next thing that we'll do, we need to assign the IPs. So let's go ahead and jump into this machine. Let's change the visual name. We'll also save the lab. We don't want to lose anything. Jump into this one. We don't want to use the config setup. We will just manually set it up. So we'll click no. Jump into enable, config mode. Let's change the host name immediately. Same thing with this one. No, enable, config, host name. We'll jump back into this one. And let's assign the IPs. 10.10.250. Now the topology does not specify, like in the last labs, exactly what this gateway IP should be set to, but since we use this subnet, as long as we stay within this subnet and we don't use a host that's taken up, we'll be okay. So we'll choose 250 and we'll stay within a small subnet. We'll use this mask. We'll make that link active, so no shut. Little by little, we should have full linkage, at least within the local Santa Fe office. We'll exit out of this. And let's go into O/1/O, that's this link. Set an IP. This one happens to be, it does specify, at least the topology does, which IP it wants us to use. We'll do a no shut. This link will be down because we only have this office live. We have yet to set up this office, so it's going to be down in the meantime, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and exit. Now let's say, we got Santa Fe all set up, so let's go ahead and spend the day in El Paso. So let's open this up. We show up in El Paso and we gotta set up the links. So let's go into this O/O. That is this link. And let's set an IP. This one, once again, the topology did not specify an IP, but we'll just stay within the subnet and we'll be okay. This one was the .20 subnet, and we'll give it the host 250. Keep a simple mask. Do a no shutdown. Suddenly we got local connectivity within the El Paso office. Now we just gotta get office to office connectivity, city to city connectivity in a sense. Let's go ahead and let's exit. Let's go ahead and lastly assign the IP to this El Paso outbound link. So O/1/O was, let's see. Yeah, that was that one. Give it an IP. The topology does mention which one it wants you to use, which is this one. Do a no shut. As soon as you do this, you know what's going to happen. This link, since it was live, and we'll be making this one live, that should become active, which it does. Excellent. Now that we've got physical live connectivity, all the way up to, the second level on the OSI model, but we need to get full connectivity. We want to be able to send packets between this machine, any of these, to any of these. So let's go ahead and save the lab once again. So the initial time we want to set up a static route, so we'll do this manually once again, just so you know exactly how to do it. So let's go into config mode. We will use IP route. Once again, how do we set this up? We set up the destination subnet that we want to get to. So we want to get from LAN A, this subnet, to this subnet. This is the destination subnet. So we will type in 10.10.20.0. We want to type in the destination mask, which is 255.255.255.0. Lastly, we need to specify the next hop. We can specify which interface we want to leave, which is this one, or we can specify the IP that we need to get to next, which is this one. We'll do this one by IP, and then when we set up this one, we'll do it by interface. So let's do this one by IP. We'll do, see, this one was 10.10.200.1. That's the next hop. Actually, we need to specify this one. This is the next hop. This is .2. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and jump to this one. We'll exit into config mode. Let's do IP. We need the destination subnet, so we want to get from this subnet to this subnet. This is the destination, so 10.10.this. What is the destination subnet mask, which is this? And what is the next hop? So when we set it up on this one, we said the next hop was 10.10.200.1, which was this IP. This time when we set up this one, we will do it by interface instead of IP. So we won't be typing in 10.10.200.1. We want to type in SO/1/0, because that's what we want to leave out of to get to this subnet. So you can do them both ways. So we'll go ahead and we'll exit. Now that we have it set up, we should have connectivity. So let me also set up some notes on this one. This one is 10.10.30.1. And this one is 10.10.20.2. We have yet to assign IPs, so we need to do that. So 10.10.20.2 subnet was this. Gateway was 10.10.20.250. That is its gateway, which is this one. We'll close out of that. We'll open this guy up. We need to set up the IP, which is 10.10. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Gateway is 10.10.30.250. Go ahead and close out of that. So let's say we want to jump from this guy's machine on his desk into Santa Fe office, and we want to communicate with this guy, the 10.10.20.2 PC, and he happens to be in El Paso. So let's go ahead and open that up. Let's do an IP config, just so we get the hang of that. If you didn't know this guy's IP, on a Windows machine, that's how you can find it. So let's ping this guy's IP. So let's do 10.10.20.2. Give it a minute, but it should connect. Timed out, but as soon as we got connectivity, we'll do it again. We should get all the packets back this time, which is good. So we successfully sent a ping packet between this guy, we jump to this one, and to this one, and to this one, and to this one, to this one, and back. We'll do the same thing with this guy. We want to ping 10.10. We want to send a ping from this guy to this guy. So El Paso to Santa Fe and back. And we got full communication. One of the nifty things that you can do within this Cisco application as well. Let's see if we can set this up. We'll do a manual one. Nope, doesn't look like we'll be able to do that, so we'll leave that off to the side. We'll just stick with ping. And I left these ones off. I didn't assign IPs to this one, but you get the gist of it. You could just as easily, go into this one, do a 10.10.30 dot, we'll go with 2. The gateway is 10.10.30.250. So this guy's gateway is this link. This one 10.10.20 dot. This one was 10.10.20.250. This link is its gateway. And we'll send a ping packet. We will go. We want to test communication between this guy and this guy. So let's do ping. We'll do 10.10.30.2. This is the IP that we just assigned to this guy. And we got communication, so it's all set to go. We'll go ahead and save the lab. So we've set this up the static way. So let's go ahead and go back into this. Let's flush this out. Let's negate those commands. So if we take a look, we'll go back. We'll show config. So this is the config file at the moment. It has all the commands that we just typed in to set it up. It has all the IP assignments. And it has the IP routes that we assigned to it. So let's copy that. And let's just negate that. Let's go into config mode. And let's do no. So all we have to do to take this command out of that config file is go into config mode and negate it. Anytime you want to negate something, delete it, you just type in no and then the command that you want to negate. So if we go back, that command used to be below this. If we go up, it used to be beneath that, and then we did all of these commands, and now it is gone. So that's just a nifty way to get it out. And let's go ahead and let's do the same thing to this one. Let's get that static one out of the way. Let's show the config so we know exactly what the command looks like. You could type it out manually, but it's best to know exactly what it says. Let's go into config mode. Let's do no. We will paste that command. That will negate it. We'll exit. And now that command is gone. So now instead of using static routes, we'll go ahead and switch it up. We'll use RIP routing. So how do we set that up? We go conf t into config mode. we'll use version 2. And how does this one go again? Anytime you use, like a routing protocol like RIP, OSPF, any of the publishing ones, I like to call them, you only tell the protocol what you want it to send out. So we want any device that's plugged into this guy to be told of this subnet, that it does exist. And hey, if anybody on this side, if you need to talk to someone on this subnet, I'm the guy that you want to send it to. So let's go back into this. And maybe I was in this one. Yeah, I was in this one. So we'll go ahead and flip that. So we want this guy to tell this guy that, hey, I know about this subnet. I know he knows about this subnet, but he doesn't know about this one. So let's tell him, hey, I know about this one. So if you need to get a hold of me, I'm the guy. We don't put a subnet, we just tell it what we need to. We'll close out of that. This guy, we'll go ahead and go into conft. Once again, we want this guy to tell this guy, hey, if any of you need to communicate with this subnet, I'm the one you want to send it to. Double check what I typed in that. Yep, that one's good. So that should be that. We'll go ahead and close out of this. And we should be able to ping that guy still. And it looks like it's good to go. We take a look at this one. We can exit. In privileged exec mode, we can show the IP routes that it knows of. So this guy on its own, it knew about these two subnets because it is physically connected to this guy and this link. It knows about them because it's plugged into it. But it did not know about this subnet because it's not directly plugged into it. It's plugged into this guy. But this guy told him via a RIP publishing that, hey, if you need to get to the 10.10.20 LAN, you need to communicate via this interface, so this one, and you can get to it by sending it from this interface to this IP, which is the 10.10.200.2. That's this one. So it has a map now, how to get from Santa Fe to El Paso. And if we take a look at this one, we can find out the same thing, but it should be the exact opposite. So it knows about these two because it's physically plugged into it, but it also knows about the 10.10, this subnet, because it's on this side, and this guy told him about it. So it's saying, if you need to get to this subnet, you can get to it by sending a packet out of this guy, which is this one, and send it to this IP, which is this one. So we send a packet out of this guy up to this way, out of this one, which is this, to this one, which is this, and then this guy can get him to that subnet. And that seems to be about it on that one. Let's go ahead and let's also save it. Leave the default name. Let's do the same thing with this one. Let's see, do we need to talk about anything else? No, we do not. That's about it. That's about the gist of it. You may have some additional questions in the lab, but this should help you solidify the foundations on static and RIP routing. So have a fun time with it.